NXT Takeover New York is the night before the Hall of Fame, and we have two new matches on the card. One due to circumstance, and one I didn't know about till now. I'm not sure when it was actually made, but we'll go for it regardless. First off, the NXT Championship will be decided in a 2 out of 3 falls match to decide the new champion. The reason being is Tommaso Ciampa recently went through neck surgery, and due to the timetable of the surgery actually being successful, which it was successful, and the time of recovery, will be unable to defend the title, so they vacated it. Johnny Gargano will face Adam Cole. Cole won a fatal 4-way last night to determine the number, not really a number contender, but just determine the other slot in the match. Cole and Gargano, it's interesting because with NXT, like I said before, people don't like me saying this, but it's true. Because much like with NXT, most people see it as a third brand, with the UK brand being a fourth brand, per se. At the end of the day, both brands are developmental. The UK part will come a little later, but NXT is still technically a developmental territory. Meaning that we call it the main roster, much like people like Ricochet and Aleister Black were, Lacey Evans, EC3, and the list goes on and on. Excuse me. But, with that being said, there's not really a point of calling anybody up at this point, because, Gargano was on the main roster for a little bit with Ciampa, the tag team, but we haven't seen him since at that point. Because normally you'd think, okay, who's going to win, who's going to be called up? However, this one, you just need a new champion. You don't really need someone being called up or anything like that. This is a different scenario for NXT, because NXT in general is like, okay, with predictions, who's going to be called up, who's going to be here, who's going to win, and you can base that victory on who might be called up, the loser might be being called up, stuff like that. But with that being said, this is a 2 out of 3 falls match. Something we don't usually see in WWE, except maybe in an Iron Man capacity, but with that being said, I will pick Gargano, because not that Adam Cole doesn't deserve it. Cole could easily win this match and begin the year-long saying of the Undisputed Era would have all the gold by the end of the year. That's still a possibility. But I feel like Gargano needs it more. Gargano could be that next big face that NXT actually needs to get things done. And I think Gargano needs it more. Not that Cole doesn't, it's just a case again of who needs it more, and I feel Gargano needs it. And finally, the WWE United Kingdom Championship, as the champion Pete Dunne faces Walter. Now, I have been behind on the UK brand since they have effectively been airing 2 episodes per week. That's a lot of catching up to do, especially with how far behind I am personally. I haven't even gotten to the UK Takeover event. That's how far behind I am. However, I know about both of these men's ring work from many promotions like Progress, WCW, which is now Defiant, as well as the matches in Defiant, and other UK promotions at the time. Walter, if you have never seen Walter before, you will be in for a treat at TakeOver, because this man is incredible. This man could be a world champion, in my opinion, if it was used properly. And just based on the experience I know of 2 of these men, it's going to be a fucking brawl. It's going to be technical. It's going to be a great match. It could easily be a match of the year candidate. And I don't really know, what happens here in this match. This could honestly go either way. But I am going to pick Walter just because I want to see Walter as a dominant champion. Not that Pete Dunne hadn't. He's held the title for about almost 700 days. By the time of TakeOver, it'll probably be over 700 days. But I feel like this is a long reign, and eventually this reign has to end. As much as I don't want it to, Pete Dunne is the perfect United Kingdom champion and the perfect inaugural champion, and has been carrying this brand ever since he won the title in the first place. or not even an inaugural, the second ever champion if you think about it. But he's kind of had a better run than the inaugural champion, Tyler Bate. But this is the reign that has been great for the United Kingdom brand, and eventually it's going to end. But I will pick Walter just because I feel like this guy's a fucking beast. I mean, he's 6'4", he's 300 pounds, he's obviously a beast, but he's a guy that I feel could be the future of the UK division and the UK brand in general. I would not be surprised if even Walter was called up so the main roster, so that we on a global scale could see how powerful and incredible this guy is. I would not be surprised if Dunn retains, however, but I will pick Walter just because I want to see it happen. I want to see Walter as a champion, be a dominant champion, and more importantly, see him on the fucking main roster because this guy is great. He's incredible. And I may be selling him a lot here, but you know what? Just based on what I've seen of him, the guy is incredible. The guy could be a world champion if he wanted to be. More importantly, WWE wanted to give him a world title. That's how good this guy is. Well, that being said, NXT Takeover New York is the Friday before WrestleMania, and a lot more matches will be made, because we have the tag titles, we have the North American title to be decided still, and we could have more because, if the UK title is being involved, that's, the women's, that could be about, and the tags, about maybe 6 titles being decided here. Maybe 5 or 6 at the most if they wanted to bring even the other UK titles involved as well. Just make it one big, huge takeover event to showcase them before WrestleMania. But either way, we will have you covered either way.